Mary Magdalene is one of the most fascinating and controversial figures associated with the life of Jesus. Despite being frequently mentioned in the Gospels, much of what is believed about her has been shaped by centuries of interpretation, tradition, and culture, making her true identity an intriguing mystery. In the Bible, Mary Magdalene is introduced as a woman from Magdala, a town located on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. Her name, Magdalene, likely derives from this geographical origin. The first mention of her in the Gospels describes her as a woman from whom Jesus cast out 7 demons, a description symbolizing a radical transformation in her life. However, it is important to note that this liberation does not imply moral sin. Rather, it is often interpreted as a profound spiritual healing, a sign that she was completely restored, body and soul, by the presence of Jesus. In the Gospels, Mary Magdalene plays a crucial role, especially during the darkest and most significant moments of Jesus' life. She is one of the few people who remained by his side during the crucifixion, when many disciples fled. Additionally, she was the first person to witness Jesus' resurrection, a central event in Christian faith and a historic milestone for early Christianity. This detail, in particular, is highly significant because it reinforces Mary Magdalene's role as a key witness to Jesus' message. It is remarkable that, in a time when women had little or no value as legal witnesses, the Gospels emphasize that Mary Magdalene was the first to see the risen Christ and to carry that message to the other disciples. However, despite these highly important accounts, the image many have of Mary Magdalene is more complex, shaped by ideas and interpretations that go beyond the biblical text. One of the most widespread associations is that she was a repentant sinner or even a prostitute. However, the Bible makes no direct mention of Mary Magdalene as a woman of ill repute or involved in morally questionable activities. This association began to gain traction in 591 AD, when Pope Gregory the Great, in a sermon, combined 3 different women mentioned in the Gospels into a single figure: Mary Magdalene, the adulterous woman forgiven by Jesus, and the woman who anointed Jesus' feet with oil. This interpretation became dominant for centuries, especially in Western art and culture. From that point forward, the image of Mary Magdalene as a repentant sinner was widely disseminated, particularly during the Middle Ages. Renaissance and Baroque paintings frequently depict Mary Magdalene as a penitent figure, often with long, loose hair, tears in her eyes, and a jar of perfume symbolizing repentance and redemption. This cultural construction, though powerful and emotionally rich, does not reflect what is in the canonical Gospels. In fact, many modern scholars have worked to deconstruct this narrative and recover the true Mary Magdalene described in the biblical texts. This recovery is not only about correcting a historical error, but also about understanding the impact this interpretation had on the role of women in the church and society. In addition to the canonical Gospels, other ancient texts shed light on Mary Magdalene in a different way. The so-called Gnostic Gospels, such as the Gospel of Mary, discovered in the mid-20th century, portray Mary Magdalene as a leadership figure among Jesus' followers. In this text, she is described as a close disciple who understands Jesus' teachings profoundly, even more so than the other apostles. This view places her in a prominent role, suggesting that she had special spiritual knowledge and possibly a leadership position in the early Christian community. However, these texts were excluded from the official Bible canon in the 4th century when church leaders decided which writings would be included in the scriptures. This means that for centuries, these alternative views of Mary Magdalene were forgotten or deliberately ignored. The rediscovery of these texts has sparked debates about Mary Magdalene's role in the early church and how women have been represented in the history of Christianity. For many, she symbolizes the importance of women in Jesus' ministry and the potential for female leadership in the church, something that has not always been acknowledged over the centuries. Some scholars suggest that her exclusion as a leadership figure may have been the result of theological or cultural disputes aimed at minimizing women's roles in building the church. This idea is reinforced by the fact that Mary Magdalene, even in the canonical Gospels, appears in crucial moments of Jesus' narrative, while many of his male followers are absent. The recovery of this image of Mary Magdalene as a faithful disciple rather than a repentant sinner has gained traction in recent years. In 2016, Pope Francis took a significant step in this direction by elevating the celebration of Mary Magdalene to a liturgical feast day on par with the Apostles, calling her the Apostle of the Apostles. This reflects a belated but important acknowledgement of the central role she played in proclaiming the resurrection, one of the most important moments in Christianity. Nevertheless, in popular culture, Mary Magdalene remains a figure surrounded by mystery and speculation. Books, films, and documentaries often explore fictional aspects of her life, such as her relationship with Jesus. A famous example is Dan Brown's novel The Da Vinci Code, which suggests that Mary Magdalene was married to Jesus and that they had descendants. While this idea has no historical or biblical basis, it reflects the ongoing fascination with her figure and the desire to fill the gaps left by the official narrative. This approach, though fictional, also highlights the complexity of Mary Magdalene as a historical and spiritual character. Mary Magdalene's story is also one of redemption and transformation, even if her original identity has been misunderstood over the centuries. For many Christians, she is a model of faith and devotion. Her courage to remain by Jesus' side in his most difficult moments and her role as the first witness to the resurrection are examples of unwavering loyalty and love. However, she is also a reminder of how history and culture can shape the perception of a figure, sometimes obscuring their true essence. Today, when we look at Mary Magdalene, we should see her not only as a biblical character but as a symbol of the spiritual journey we all undertake. Her story challenges us to go beyond first impressions and seek a deeper and truer understanding, both of her life and of the role of women in the history of Christianity. Mary Magdalene teaches us that transformation is possible, that love and faith can overcome prejudice, and that the testimony of one person can have an eternal impact. If you liked this video and want to know more about the characters that surrounded the life of Christ and formed the rich biblical story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and send this video to your friends. Turn on notifications to know when new videos come out.